Everybody, MJ here, and my glasses are all fogged up. All right, let me take this off. Yeah. Welcome to Taiwan Live TV. Fist bumped everybody. Wow. I got my new glasses. They block blue light, but they don't block fog. How's everybody doing? All right. Yeah. We call this fog, we call like Qi in Chinese. Wu Qi. Wu Yan Jing. Wu Qi. Anyway, so how's it going? All right, I'm at Win Win's, the famous place where this all began, where I started live streaming like, gosh, 7 years ago, was it? You would never know it, though, by the number of views that I have on my channel, so has been a while. Faye, how you doing? My goodness, yeah, wow, it's been a long time, so people are looking at me like, who are you talking to? So maybe I have to explain Faye fist bump to you. How's it going? You know, if I knew you were gonna, had known that you were going to show up, Faye, I would have shaved. But I did. Hang on. Because I'm a live streamer. I did bring my comb because I got hat hair, you know, and it's like, oh boy. So, Prism makes a nice mirror. There you go. All right. It's a little more presentable. Hey, how the heck is it going, man? I haven't seen you for like, gosh, I don't know. You're gonna have to tell me when's the last time that I've been working on music a lot, doing you know, been in the studio, so. Anyway, now let me show you, because this is live. This is Prism. Let me add this photo that I took earlier. I'm going to show this right now. This is what I'm eating. This is actually a Vietnamese chef cooked this, and this is beef Shang La Fan, which is like a Thai dish, you know, kapao. It's a little bit different though, but man, oh man, it's really good. I got it right here. And we're gonna do what we always do. I always tell them like half rice, and they end up giving me a whole plate because they don't understand why somebody wouldn't want to eat a bunch of rice. Don't get me wrong, rice is good, but fist bump Dave, I saw that you sent me some line messages just now, but I couldn't respond. On the notification shade, I'm pretty sure it said that you're out for drinks, right? Faye's here. It's been a while. Nice. Actually, she did a really good job making this. This is like a really dark sauce. I haven't been here for a while. All right, man. Well, I'm out for drinks too. So, you got to put the live stream. You got to put the live stream on a Bluetooth speaker band and blast it so everybody can see it. I haven't been here in so long. I talked to this chef. She can't understand my Chinese anymore. So here we go. Another drink for tonight. Tondania. Vanilla rum gold. Oh yeah. I talked to Faye, I mean, you know, in the line group, but I'm in on a live stream. It's been like a long time, too long. Now, I'm not using the gimbal. I'm using my selfie stick. You know, I bought this selfie stick, and it rotates between portrait and landscape. And there's a detent, you know, it kind of goes snap, it locks in. And then you go to portrait mode, it goes snap, right? But the lock on the portrait mode isn't quite horizontal. And so I'm like, good night. See you. Thanks for dropping in. I appreciate it. I know it's late there. Thank you. All right. So, I've been laying though. I haven't been on as much. I gotta tell you, as much as I love live streaming and talking with everybody and visiting and sharing stories and so forth, it takes a lot of time. And I've been so busy that, like, late Sunday night, for example, I just went, I'm too tired. Not going on. Now I want to thank all the new viewers we have. I'm up to 280, which for me is amazing. Now I want to put my Taiwan Live graphic up here, and I wanted to draw attention to it because over at Livestreaming.technology, the forum is actually gaining some new users. We've got a new user tonight, a new member. The thing is I never figured this, but the most popular section on Livestreaming.technology is the hats forum. People are so passionate. They're up in arms about hats. They either love it or they hate it. And we have a couple of topics that are like 500 to 800 views. It's nuts. And if you haven't been on Livestreaming.technology, make it just a little bit bigger. If you haven't been on Livestreaming.technology, you might want to check it out because it's really, really interesting to see what people think. And sometimes people are just asking questions like, what do you think of what they've done? But I'm going to tell you what I think. I think HAPS is quantifiably dead, and I think somebody's going to be wanting their $4.7 million back. Now, I've invested money before, pretty big money. Not 7 figures, but I've invested 6 figures before. It's all the same. You have to do the same due diligence. You have to look at the business plan. You have to figure out, is this going to work or not? You know, do you think it's going to work? You have faith in the people that are doing it. I'm telling you right now, nothing against HAPS. Let me say this before I say anything else. Whoops. I'm not an envious person. I'm not a jealous person. I love it when people succeed, even if I don't. My success has nothing to do with how I celebrate and feel about other people's success. I'm not one of those people. I do not want HAPS to fail. I just knew they would. I would like to see them make money because I love success stories. I love when people make money. Seriously, I do. I really do. And those of you who met me personally, know me personally, have talked to me, you know this to be true. So I'm going to tell you, when they came out with that business, you know, they sent the email about Periscope being dead and stuff, and it's in poor taste. I emailed them back and I said, look, since you wrote me this, I'm going to tell you what I think. And they ended up taking me off their mailing list. Anyway. The truth is, though, you can't broadcast there. I have 1,000 followers. Anyway, none of that matters. What matters is this. Grayson. This is the epitome of cuteness. And Matthew, I need you to come into the live stream, and I need you to give me an update on how the little guy's doing, okay? That's what we need. Look at this. I mean, he's unbelievable. And you can tell how smart he is. So anyway, I told you, excuse me, I told you guys about everything that was going on with JTS in the studio and all that. I was working on a project with Phoenix. I can't show it to you. It's a private project. But Phoenix was actually very, very good at it. And never sang on studio tracks before. Microphone, headphones. For her first time, she did so incredibly well that I could just, with my experience as a recording engineer and a producer and working with hundreds of people, I can project where she's going. And the cool thing is, with a name like Phoenix, I mean, come on. Fist bump. Matthew, I'm so glad that you joined us. It was so fortunate at that time. Thank you so much. I'll get back to Phoenix in a second. If you have a picture of him and you don't mind sending it to the group, of course you have my private line. If you send it, I'll capture it right now and show everybody. So if you got a picture that you and your wife wouldn't mind showing of your beautiful son, and just, that would be fantastic. I would like to see. 8 months old. You know, we're going to turn around, right? And he's going to be in high school, and he's going to be dating. It's like, this is crazy, you know, because I'm running across the same thing with Phoenix. She's 9 years old. You guys remember when she was like a baby, you know, and she's 9 years old. So anyway, Phoenix wants to do some videos with me, and she wants to do some new recordings with me. So on the stuff that I'm doing, I'm going to have her sing some background vocals. And then when it comes time to do the official music videos, she wants to be in them too. Now the cool thing is, like I said, based on my decades of experience working in the studio with all kinds of people, all different backgrounds and ages, for her to just put on headphones and sing 4 tracks and do so well. Got her father's DNA. It's my kid. So I might even write a song just for her. And you know she's a piano player too, so if I can talk her into it, I could conceivably get her to do the piano parts too. Just fun. J-Boy, how are you doing? Hey, yeah. Newenji? Okay, yeah, Newenji did that. Turn the lights out. They're apologizing. They're saying, wait a second. I said, no, it's no problem. Now, I got to tell you guys something. One of my sisters here, not so many customers, but this is exactly the situation that I got banned on Reddit. We Are the World. This was the place. Kind of a similar situation because mainly because I got trolled in the way that I responded. J-Boy, I'm so glad to hear that. And you know what? With every mutation, it gets less dangerous. So hey, I was talking about, somebody said, because I said, you know, they asked me the time, 2 o'clock in the morning, and it was kind of, I forget exactly how the conversation went, but basically, the guy's like, well, you never know, your wife might be with someone else. And I said, no, my wife's Taiwanese. The Reddit moderator took exception to that. Oops, because she said that I inferred something, and I didn't. Oh my goodness, this is amazing. I'm going to download this right now. Oh boy, oh boy. Now let me see if I can do this. Hold on. Yes, it downloaded. Here we go. Okay, put that back up. This is it. This is the one that he just sent me. Look at this. That's the picture that he just sent me. My goodness. Well, J-Boys, it's just that over time they tend to get, I guess the word is virulent or less dangerous, because the problem is that they kill all the hosts and it can't spread. Look at that. Amazing. Fantastic. He looks really smart. And he looks so happy. I love that. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, my co-host for this evening, Mr. Grayson Phillips, joining me tonight. But anyway, I just want to, Grayson, what do you think? Like, what do you think of the Reddit moderators? The ones that, the really woke ones. He's laughing because he knows. So I got banned in a Jewish fist bump to you. I got inferentially banned because of inferences. So I said, no, my wife's Taiwanese. And this woke feminist moderator said, you said my wife's Taiwanese, implying that Western women cheat. No, I didn't say that. What I mean by that is, my wife's Taiwanese. She's not the woman that cheated on you, so you don't trust all other women. Do you understand that? That's what I meant. But the wokeness banned me. And then I complimented Wen-Wen's sister on her appearance, given her age. I made a big mistake. I alluded to the fact that Asian women age well. It doesn't mean that everybody else doesn't, but it's a well-known fact that often Western people can't guess the age of Eastern people. Can't. And they always guess lower than what they are. Come on, guys. I've been living in Asia for 18 years. So the woke moderator said, because I said that, I infer that Western women don't age well. And because I was talking about her, I was sexually harassing her. Now I got a question. How can you sexually harass somebody by proxy? By not actually interacting with them. So now whenever I come back here, I relive the Reddit experience. Grayson, my advice to you is just don't bother with Reddit. Just skip it, because I'll tell you what, it's becoming more of a problem. Hey, J-Boy, that's a really good question. There is actually no Mrs. Klein because in this society, the women don't legally change their name. The children take the husband's family name, but the women are still referred to as Miss, believe it or not, and their own name. However, if you did not know a woman, if you're not personally acquainted with a woman and she's with her husband, it's proper to address her as Mrs. So and so, because you don't know. Then later on, as you get to know the couple, the wife invariably will tell you her family name, and then you start calling her Miss whatever it is. So our family name is Zhu. So she's Miss Zhu. Now, to answer your question, she is a very second case. She's a very high-level English speaker, but not interchangeably fluent, of course, like Phoenix is. And so at home, we speak a combination of English and Chinese. Chinglish. Oh, that might get me banned on Reddit. Oh, I can't say Chinglish. That's racist. And I'm a white supremacist. You can tell by looking at me, right? Because I'm white. I think that's the definition of white supremacist. Being white. But we speak Chinglish, and thing is, it can be complicated sometimes. Glad you're laughing. Discussing really, really deep things, And also, as a married couple, you have to discuss, matters of the heart too, right? She is, man. She is. She has 2 first languages, But she does say stuff to me sometimes like, I don't know how to say that in English. And I understand because she has more of a Chinese influence because it's Chinese environment here. And she does go to an international school, but it's largely Chinese with English classes. But for example, when we used to go to the States, my wife would go off for the whole day with my 2 sisters and have a blast. And there weren't any problems at all, just normal stuff. So, I mean, sometimes they talk about stuff that nobody's heard of, you know what I'm saying? I mean, even with me, you heard of it? No, I don't know what you're talking about. So as long as you can explain, it's okay. So she gets along really well. And she can watch movies and laugh and TV, and she gets enough. She gets like 95%. So, yeah. And when we talk about business, we generally discuss it in English. But it's funny, even in our English conversations, it's always dispersed with a little bit, of Chinese in there. But, there's always, because if you're talking about, like, within our business, we do castings and machinings, we do manufacturing. So I might ship so many kg or metric tons or something like that. So we'll use my wife and I will talk, and she'll use the words, like gongjing for kg and things like that, and all interdispersed in English. It's just, so, yeah. If you guys have never seen a Singapore movie, I don't care how you do it, you've got to find some movies made in Singapore. They are absolutely hilarious because they always mix at least 5 languages. And there is a Singaporean version of English, okay? And white supremacist, racist alert. This is a racist spoiler. They speak Singlish in Singapore, and it is hilarious. I love it. It's funny. The people are smart. They're witty. Their sense of humor is off the charts. Correct. It's English. You are a racist. You Indian racist. But you're absolutely right. Sorry, I can't say this with a straight face because it's just so amazing. I mean, when I think of woke, I think like it's abnormal. Singaporean English, Singlish. Exactly right, J-Boys, and that's it. You beat me to it. Anyway, but like Indians have their version of English too, so. Yep, I don't see any either. But that's the problem. Racism is only visible if you're looking for it. But the problem is it's everywhere. If you're looking for it, it's everywhere. If you're not looking for it, you probably won't notice that. But I went to Thailand. English, yeah. So we got Chinglish, Singlish, and Hinglish. I went to Thailand with my friend Shaman, right? And he's from Kolkata. And he got in an accident where he hit, a car and his motorcycle. And he scraped up his leg and his arm. He got banged up pretty bad. And he took the side mirror off the car, right? And he's standing there. I circled back on my scooter, my motorcycle came back. And he said, in very proper English, he said, "Now look at this thing that has happened." And I'm sorry, but I just busted out laughing. Because I don't know about anybody that would say that. They'd be like, "What the heck? What? This crap." They would be like, expletives, right? They would be going nuts. And he's like, "Oh, look at this thing that has happened." I was like, "Sorry, bro." But think about this. If everybody was like you, if everybody in the world was like you, how bored would you be? It's a Twilight Zone like that. I'd give you about a week and you'd be going like, you couldn't take it. But it's funny. Because that's what's happening on Twitter. There's a mass exodus. Mass exodus off of Twitter. And pretty soon, Twitter is only going to be populated by people that are of a certain type of mindset. And it's really interesting. You hear about, diversity and inclusiveness, but these people don't tolerate other viewpoints. So they don't care about a diverse viewpoint. They talk about inclusiveness, but all they want to do is cancel you, so they're going to exclude you. So it's just like everything else. It has to do basically, my experience is with communism is that I did, J-Boy. I did. And I apologize because I got sidetracked. I saw your DM and then something happened and I had to shut my computer, my portable computer. But I'm going to add you. I'm going to add you to the group. And, I apologize. I owe you an apology because I should have done it right away. What happened was, when I opened the Twitter DM, you sent me an image, right? The image had not loaded, and all of a sudden I was called away, and I just, okay, so, but thank you for jerking my chain. I appreciate it. Yeah, because we would love to have you in the group. We don't have any Indian racists in our group. But what I was saying was, it's been my experience over 65, almost 66 years. And I've been in a couple communist countries, but they always name stuff the opposite of what it is. Like whenever, as soon as you see the People's Republic of whatever it is, you know it's communist, right? And so they're saying, oh, inclusive, exclusive, oh, diverse, no. It just means that they want monocultural. That's what they want. So, but there was a video. Now, the problem is I don't like to spend a whole lot of time with all this stuff. So, I do. I do. I know exactly what you mean because all my Indian friends are global too. Like Ashish, who's a software engineer in Australia, and Shaman I met in Taiwan. He went back to Kolkata, but yeah, these I know exactly what you mean. These are highly educated, globally minded Indians, and so yeah, they've been places, they've done things, and you know, exactly. I would like to think of myself as a global person too, because of that. I'm not just In other words, I've been more than 50 kilometers away from my home. But I don't spend a whole lot of time looking for this stuff, but occasionally some of this woke stuff, these YouTube videos are really hilarious, right? And there's a guy that came on. I know my fair share. I ticked off a couple of them with American humor, and I apologize that they didn't accept my apology, but what can I do? But yeah, I do. Of course, in Taiwan, there are at least, oh my goodness, okay, now I forgot. Okay, the universities are full of Indians. Like right here in Hsinchu and Tsinghua and Jiao Tong University, there must be, I'm going to say there must be 10 to 15,000 Indians there, so. Yeah, but what it is I have a passport. So yeah. But I saw this really, really interesting video. And Jay Boy, I'll tell you what I'll do. When I add you to the line group, then I'll post this in a line group. But I got to tell you, this was a British man who used to be a heavy leftist kind of woke person, right? And he explained something that is really important to understand. He said woke people don't think that they're better than others. They just think they're right. However, here's the thing. Their overwhelming viewpoint, let's just say, we used to call that being unreasonably withheld about your own opinion. They think, and they're so firmly convinced that they are right, that gives them the authority to monitor and try to force other people to view things the way they do, and if they don't, to shut them out and stop them from doing what they're doing. Now, I'm going to give you a couple examples of that. First example is this. If you don't believe in God, this won't work. But even if you're an atheist, just think about this. If there is a God, let's just say a sovereign of the universe who created everything, the Big Bang Theory, created the earth, humans, and everything. This God, you will notice, is not forcing you or me to worship him. Is he? It's called free will. So if the sovereign of the universe isn't doing that, what gives me or you the right to do that? Nothing. Let's bring it down to human level here, because a lot of people don't believe in a creator. Excuse me, because hang on, I got a sneeze coming. Hate that. This is live TV, folks, and I don't have a cough switch. As you guys know, hey, Kurt, how you doing, man? All right, let's stop for a second. Everybody, I want you to follow my man Gert, Whiskey Lover Society, okay? Even if you don't like whiskey, you're going to like him. He's got a really good delivery. But Gert, you know what's amazing? Dude, you're like a machine, man. You got like this output, like, you're doing like video after video after video. And I like your new backgrounds. And I really like the fireplace, you know, the videos and stuff, man. It's like, excellent. And I'm very happy to say, I'm going to say, Gert, I'm very, very happy that you recovered from COVID and got your sense of taste and smell back. Jewish, that's fine, I understand. And if you would like to contact me directly, we can have some very interesting discussions. And before we do that, you've got to understand that I fully respect your viewpoints. And I understand why people have that viewpoint. It kind of goes along with the free will thing, because people say, well, if God exists, why isn't he doing anything? And there is a good reason why it's not so. Well, from one YouTube content creator to another, but you got more followers than me, so maybe you shouldn't listen to me, but you might want to stretch it out a little bit, you know what I mean? It's kind of like if you release, you know, a new record every month, after 4 months, and the 5th month comes along, everybody's going like, what's going on, you know? But the fact is you release stuff way more often than most people, so, but yeah. By the way, let me introduce you to my co-host tonight. This is Mr. Grayson Phillips. He's 8 months old. He's an incredible co-host, and he never talks over me. He's just, look at him. He's just such a pleasant disposition. Sure, well, I invite you, Jewish, please. Tell you what, let me do this. You can reach me at late night, right here at the bottom. Late night at TaiwanLive.tv. Late night at TaiwanLive.tv. Grayson is one of my oldest followers, new son. He is. Matthew Phillips, his father, has been a fantastic, big-time supporter of mine from way back, like from when I think like probably the first week I started live streaming on Periscope, and I appreciate that. Anyway, let's get back, though, if you don't mind, because I love talking about this woke stuff. As you guys know, I'm a ham radio operator. And I was talking in the car. This is a long, long time ago. I was married to my first wife. Excuse me. She was driving, and I was riding in the passenger seat, and my wife was listening to the radio, which she likes to do, and it was a music station. And I was talking on, you know, a microphone in my walkie-talkie, which we call a handy-talkie in ham radio. It's 2 meters, you know, and I'm going to the local repeater, and it's all around the Boston area. So I got the microphone, you know, up to my mouth like this, talking like this. But you could hear a little tiny bit of music in the background. Now here's the thing. In the United States, amateur radio or ham radio forbids you from transmitting music. So, you know, if I took my microphone and put it over the, you know, the speaker, right, on the dashboard or something, or in the door of the car, and transmitted that music, that would have been illegal. But there is such a thing as incidental music. Now, I have this problem with YouTube because I've gotten copyright hits for songs that were playing in the background, like at my wedding, or like I go to the Cowboy Bar. If you guys have seen my live streams of the Cowboy Bar, where Johnson will bring out 4 or 5 different whiskeys, and I'm sampling them over a 3-hour period of time and talking to you guys and interacting, and they're playing music in the bar, and later on I've got 10 different performing arts societies that are trying to claim copyright on my live stream. That's incidental music. That really shouldn't be happening. And I've been discussing, I don't really want to say this, but I might actually be the guy who puts a stop to that, because I've got the resources to do it. But at any rate, this has been a problem, and this has come out recently on YouTube. Some people are starting to talk about incidental music. This is what I'm talking about. Something in the background you don't control, like somebody over here, right here, playing their mobile phone while I'm live streaming can get me a copyright strike, and I'm not playing it. So here's the thing: I'm talking on the ham radio, and I'm just blah, 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 over to you, and the next guy talks, and right. And somebody says to me, "You're being jammed." I'm like, what? Every time I keyed the mic, somebody else would key the mic over me and purposely jam me. So I had an idea who it might be. So I just asked him, "Are you talking over my transmission?" And he said, "Yeah." I said, "Okay, why?" He says, "Well, you're broadcasting music." I said, "I'm not broadcasting music." And he said, "Yes, you are, here in the background." I want you to pay attention. Pay attention. The ham radio license, the law, and you have to study all these laws to get a license, specifically states that you cannot purposely cause interference to another ham radio transmission. It also says you can't broadcast music. So this guy told me that he was jamming me to prevent me from broadcasting music. And I still remember the reply I gave him. I said, "Okay, look, let me explain something to you. You're claiming that I'm broadcasting music. That claim is dubious because it is actually incidental music. But you are admitting to purposely jamming my transmission. That is not dubious. That's not even in question. That is unquestionably illegal." This is the point that I want to make. These woke people will use illegal, unquestionably illegal and immoral methods to block you from doing something that may or may not even be wrong to begin with. That's the problem. And so this video that I saw was absolutely amazing. This guy admitted to being a leftist, and he said, "I really thought I was right. I thought I was on high moral ground. And I felt very strongly that my viewpoints were correct." Now let me tell you, I've heard leftists talk, and many of the things that they say on the surface I agree with. Things about morality, things about integrity, and in government and science and so forth. But here's the problem. They will push the button and they will try to transmit over you or block you or cancel you if you don't see things exactly the way they do. And that's the problem. So, let me leave it like this. It's just like Mama said. 2 wrongs don't make a right. Right? It is. It is. So you can imagine, one of my friends is an official observer, and I could have reported it, but you can imagine how I felt. Like, this guy shouldn't even have a license, right? I mean, Gert, this guy shouldn't have a ham radio license if he's purposely jamming me for no reason, right? So just remember what Mama said. 2 wrongs don't make a right. And so if you see somebody that's doing something wrong, if they're not actually endangering someone else, and I don't mean like by talk, because you hear these things like, oh, you're responsible for millions of deaths because of disinformation. Sorry, that's not quantifiable, and that's just your opinion. I'm not talking about somebody, going up and trying to grab somebody. I'm talking about speech, saying things. Doesn't give you the right to jam them. And after that thing with Reddit, man, I'm done. And I know I keep talking about it, but it's actually pitiful, because what's going to happen is Reddit is going to be a place where there's no diversity. Everybody's going to be polarized all on the same lines. So like I said before, imagine a world where everybody was like you. How boring would that be? And we'll be right back after this.
Live from Greenland, and you're watching Taiwan Live TV with MJ Klein.
And let's hear from our good friend Ken Rod.
Hi everybody, you're watching Late Night with MJ Klein on Taiwan Live TV.
All right, thank you so much. So if you guys would like to send me, a video bumper like that, I'd appreciate it. Now, I'm a ham radio operator, but I'm also very familiar with the shortwave band. So I have a shortwave receiver in my home, and I built an antenna on my roof. It's 5 stories high. It's a slant V. Works great. But I have an app that gives me the shortwave schedules, from around the world, so I can look at different shows in English or Chinese, or whatever I want to see or whatever I want to hear. And there actually is an official jammer station called Fire Drake. One word, fire, and Drake, D-R-A-K-E, like a duck, Drake. The Chinese Fire Drake is very open. They're openly blocking all these signals. And I don't know if you guys would know this, but in the last 7 or 8 years, the presence of Chinese shortwave radio stations has just, it's like quadrupled. And in any given band, like the 49 meter band or the 41 meter band, there might be 10 to 15 Chinese, mainland Chinese, Beijing accent, propaganda stations. They're all over the place. Nobody wants to hear this. It's just like, it's like, the TV in the bus station. Will you please shut it off? It's just annoying me. But here's the interesting thing. And if I remember, I'll show you this in an upcoming live stream. If you look at this app, it has a listings of all the stations and the frequencies, right? The Fire Drake stations are right on top of all the Taiwan broadcasts. They're on top. They're on top of Christian broadcasts. And what's really interesting is, because of those 2 types of broadcasts that they are blocking, then you can deduce what they don't like by looking at the other frequencies that they block and what other stations are on them. So they're like, talk about playing poker and, letting everybody see your cards. It's just crazy. But yeah, that's what they do. And so the Fire Drake, it's funny, if you go to YouTube, right? And let me just spell this for you, okay? Just to make sure that Okay, so it's Firedrake. Whoops, that was a 3. E. Firedrake. Look that up on YouTube. There's some shortwave listening guys that will play those jamming signals for you. It's it's quite interesting. I'll tell you what else is interesting. The uncensored COVID-19 news that you can get on shortwave. Because in the year 2020, in January, right at the beginning of this whole pandemic, my family and I took a trip to Thailand for 2 weeks. We stayed in Chiang Rai the last week in January, then we stayed in Bangkok the first week in February. And when I was in Chiang Rai, I actually used my phone and recorded. I brought my shortwave radio, my long wire antenna, because we're in the middle of nowhere. There's no noise. It's great. It's fantastic. I heard for the first time reports of a strange virus coming out of Wuhan. And there was an American guy who's an English teacher in Wuhan, and he talked about the stuff that he saw. And this is the first week. So this is not a classroom, Drunish. You don't have to. I'm not your teacher. I'm not going to give you any demerits. You don't have to report, but I appreciate it. Thank you. That's funny. We had heard in Taiwan previous to this about some strange kind of flu coming out of Wuhan, but we didn't know what it was, right? And so when I was in Chiang Rai, and I was at my friend Dr. Sue's house in the middle of the night, drinking some Thai rum and soda, flipping through the bands, I found a BBC report where they had an English teacher from Wuhan, and this was the last week in January, and he's talking about some weird things going on, and then other people talking about viruses and what the difference is between an epidemic and a pandemic and stuff. Is really, 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 really interesting, and I still have those recordings. I played them on previous shows, but it might be time to revisit them. Now, if you don't have a shortwave receiver, I recommend you get one. You never know when you're going to need it. And the thing is, right, is if you don't trust the news media where you live, then you can tune in to different stations around the earth. And now I know you can do that on TV, but it's not quite the same. I don't know why, but radio just seems to be more unbiased, and I don't know why that is. But years ago, I used to listen to Voice of America only rarely. I used to listen mostly to Deutsche Welle, Voice of Germany. I listened to BBC and Radio Moscow. And you listen to these different things, and you can kind of sort of narrow it down and figure out what's going on. Because basically, ladies and gentlemen, living in this world today is playing a giant game of who's lying. Really. That's the name of the game. Brad Grayson, me and my co-host Grayson Phyllis Grayson, we're gonna play Who's Lying today. That's what it is. It's all about who's lying. And you don't know. So the only way that you can know is to get all these different kinds of viewpoints. So it is. Well, for example, Junish, I don't really know where you are. But quite frequently, personal friends of mine send me messages and emails and like, are you okay? Are you okay? Has China attacked yet? I'm like, what are you talking about? And they tell me, well, we heard in the news, it's imminent. They're planning it. They're going to attack at any moment. No, they're not. But you don't know why. The Chinese economy is on the verge of collapse. They have a housing bubble that is greater than all the nations in Europe combined. It's on the verge of collapse. There are other reasons too. For example, and you wouldn't know this unless you lived here, the Taiwan Strait, the 100 or so kilometers between here and Fujian, China, is treacherous. Yeah, it's only 6 minutes by aircraft, but they're not going to, buy an F-16 run an afterburner full war. But the problem is, that's not how an invasion is going to happen. It's going to have to be amphibious. They're going to have to land troops. This place has 23.6 million people. You can't land a couple jets here. You can't bomb this place into submission. You have to have troops on the ground. The Taiwan Strait is so hazardous that there are only 2 windows of opportunity every year. 2. That's it. And they're very narrow. They're weeks long each. So every time a window passes, everybody goes, okay, that's not going to happen. Then the next window comes up, no, nothing happens. Another reason is the Taiwan coast is complicated. And all the places that you could land an invasion force are well known. And the government has been here since 1948, and they've had all that time to prepare for it. And if you look on the coast, there's all kinds of bunkers, and radar, and all kinds of stuff. So everybody knows all the places that you can land. And they're heavily fortified. So it's like when somebody says, I got something for you. Well, that's what they got. They got something for them. And everybody knows it, except apparently the U.S. media, because they keep pushing this narrative, and you got to be careful, because you just can't believe all of it. I mean, there are reasons why they push this narrative, and part of it is they want more military toys. I mean, come on. My first wife's uncle was a brigadier general, and I remember overhearing him at a conversation talking about the First Gulf War, and he actually said, yeah, we got to test out all our new toys. They want toys. Toys cost money, but they won't get the money unless there's an imminent threat. But the other thing, too, that people don't know is there are over 1 million Taiwanese. Yes, it is. Interesting. Putin is another story, though. Putin is, I'm going to say this, Putin is probably the most intellectual and intelligent world leader there is. He's a genius. He's also extremely polite and gentlemanly, which means that he's also the most dangerous. He's dangerous. But that's okay. The thing is, right, China's economic system is going to collapse. She is coming up for re-election, and it's not quite in the bag. Yes, he does. He does. But if you listen to the way he answers like a typical Russian, which is interesting because it's a combination of logic and also a denial of reality. But the denial of reality seems it seems logical. It's really interesting, and I have heard him talk, and of course I have to listen to a translation because my Russian stinks. I forgot all my Russian, actually, which is a shame. But there are over 1 million Taiwanese in China, and the other thing is there are so many families that are related on both sides of the strait. There you go, and it makes sense. And so some of the PLA firing on Taiwan know that they risk, like, maybe destroying tombs of their ancestors. That's a big no-no. That's a huge no-no, especially in Taoist religion. And excuse me, except for the super high level older guys like my age, there are no military professionals in the PLA. Those kids get in there, excuse me, and they can't wait to get out. They don't take permanent jobs. And the other thing is, I'm going to say it, they're all single child little emperors. They never had siblings to wrestle with or fight with. So you know what happened in India at the line of actual control. The Indian commander said that the PLA ran and they were screaming like women, so they never fought a war. And the last reason why China's not going to attack, just so you guys know, let's get it out in the open. Excuse me. I'm going to list the following countries that have a permanent naval presence in the South China Sea. Right? Debt trapping. But some of those African countries are fighting back and saying, no, we're not going to pay the loan back because they know they got debt trapped. And that is going to contribute to the collapse of China, because if they don't pay the money, then... Okay? United States. United Kingdom. Germany. Australia. Vietnam. Malaysia. And I can't remember the rest of them, but you know, there's 6, okay? There's 6 right there. 6 countries. The UK has a carrier strike force in the South China Sea, and so does the United States. Oh, Japan, of course. Sorry, Japan. I saw that. And the reason they did it is because the maintenance costs more than what they're making on them. So they can't afford to run them. They make a certain amount of money, but the maintenance costs more. So yeah, there you go. Yeah, there you go. So India will. India absolutely will. And see, here's the thing. China has 19 ongoing border disputes and no allies. And so if you look at a map and you look at Taiwan and then you go across to India where they have this, you know, what is it, the Galwan area, that's 4,000 kilometers in the other direction. So all this stuff that I'm saying is not, I'm not smart enough to figure any of this out, guys. I'm just repeating what I read. I just want you to know this. This is my opinion. I'm neutral. I'm politically neutral. I'm just giving you the information. I don't want you to get the impression I'm taking sides here. A report that I read that said that if China starts any action in Taiwan, that India will instantly respond on the border 4,000 miles away in the exact opposite direction and split the PLA. And they'll do that on purpose. Because Taiwan and India are Hapong Yuman. Okay? They're good friends. And they should be. And all the Taiwan universities have so many Indian students, and many of them, when they get out of university, they get good jobs here in Taiwan. So, J-Boy, Keep that in mind. I saw that. I also saw that China renamed a bunch of places too. And there was even one whole Pradesh that China was issuing visas for. I mean, come on, man. You gotta hand it to them. They got guts, but they're biting off more than they can chew. But I will tell you this. According to Bible prophecy, China will not become a world power. And they almost are. So it just goes to show you how close we are to the end. They are good. So don't worry about me. Don't worry about the attack. Because I'll tell you, if there's an attack, I'll grab my phone and I'll go live. Okay? I will. That's the deal. So you heard it here first. My last bite. My last bite, guys. I just think it's kind of pitiful, though, that you have to get information from some fat old guy that lives in Taiwan. You know what I mean? I mean, really. But let me ask you a question. Sorry, I got to do this real quick because I want to see this bill. Oh, I know. I know. The thing is, right? Junior, that's human nature, you know, to jockey, you know, jockey for power and stuff. And the Bible says that man dominates man to their detriment, to their injury, and it's really true. So, I know, but many people do. Many people do. Now, on a personal question, can I ask you guys a question? I grew my hair out just a little bit. I don't want to go crazy. I have like really long hair, but I grew my hair out, and I've been putting wax on it, you know. And I just want to know, I mean, does it look like an old man trying to look young or something? I don't want to look stupid. But I mean, is it okay? I mean, I just want to know. I mean, it's like, okay, so yeah, here I am from the side. Yeah, I guess from. Wait a minute, this way. Okay, that's the side view. So I can't really see, and I don't know. I don't know. What I'm saying is I don't want to embarrass you guys. But I got my new glasses. They're based on my studio glasses. Because I had the other ones, the skinny ones, so. Okay, well thank you. I mean, I wouldn't say I look really cool, but no, I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, because it's you know, I could go like this. It could be, you know, it could be goofy looking too, but and I'm not like a, believe me, I'm not one of those selfie people and vain people, but because I'm a live streamer, you know, I do keep a comb with me, you know, so I can, there you go. So maybe could even go like this. So I told you the story, right? About the greatest haircut I ever got. Well, thank you. The greatest haircut I ever got was from an Iranian guy in Montreal back in the early 90s. And well, here's the thing. I don't know if I could do it, but let me see. If I go like this and maybe like this, I can't look in the camera because it's not a mirror image. But what he did was sort of he cut my hair and he blow dried it into like the bow of a ship. It was like it was wider in the top and narrow on the bottom like that. It's kind of crazy. So, a couple more weeks, okay. Well, you know what I can do too. I don't want to look like a long hair. I can always trim the sides and the back, around the neck, and keep it clean, and just let it grow a little bit more on the top. But I might let it grow a little bit more on the top, as long as it looks like, a presentable business person. If I put a tie on, I don't want to look like a, I don't know what to say, but there you go. So, and seriously, I apologize. I'm not fishing for compliments. I honestly want to know if you think it looks like, and I trust you guys, and if you told me it looked like crap, it's a barbershop down the street, I'll go here and buzz it, so I don't have a problem with that. But I told you guys that story, right? And if you haven't heard it, I certainly don't mind telling it again. Well, Drunish, you are a recent follower, which I really appreciate very much. Thank you. I told this story quite a while ago. I'll tell it for you because you haven't heard it. That's my co-host, Grayson. Do you think I should tell the story of the, the haircut I got in Montreal? What do you think? Well, network. Give it a second. Give it a second. Hopefully it'll straighten out now. Okay. Okay, good. Thank you. I went to Montreal, and thank you. I knew I was going, of course, in advance. Okay, thanks. And so I needed a haircut, but I waited like an extra week or two because I wanted to get my haircut in Montreal because I like traveling different places and having these experiences, So I walked into this place, and it was a couple of Iranian guys, and they were speaking Farsi and stuff. And so I walked in and said, "Hey, man, I want my haircut." And the guy who was I guess he was like the boss or the main guy, he spoke English, but he said, "This gentleman here, he's the best barber, and I'll put you in his chair. And he doesn't speak English." I said, "That's okay." He says, "How would you like your haircut?" And I said, "If he's the best barber, I'm not going to tell him what to do. Just tell him I said he can do whatever he wants to do. Just because what's he going to do? Make me look bad? I mean, come on." And he was like, "Okay." And so they spoke in Farsi, and he's like, "Okay." So this is really funny. So the guy comes up to me, he's like, looking at me, and he's like scrutinizing me, and like I'm sitting in the chair, I'm going like, he's walking around back of me, right? And he takes out his scissors. He's got them in a holster like a 6-shooter, and he whips out these scissors. And he opens them up, and he grabs my hair, right? And he goes like, now listen. From my perspective, it looks like this. Scared the heck out of me because I got glasses on, but I'm pretty sure that wouldn't protect me if he missed me. This guy's grabbing tufts of hair, and he's going like, like this, and throwing them. It's like, I never saw anything like it. One way now, dry. No, it's not that to laugh at it. Of course not. And he's cut my hair completely dry. And he's like grabbing it and like fluffing it around and getting the feel of the texture and stuff. And like, you just grab little pieces of it and stuff and just throw it away and stuff like this. And my wife, my first wife at the time, she's off in the corner. She's like, she's laughing, but her face is, she's covering her mouth because she doesn't know what to think. And this goes on for like 20 minutes. And in the meantime, right, he'll go. Throw the hair away. It's like so. Oh yeah. But here's the thing. This is like dramatic and intense. And he's looking at me like, and then, he'll grab some hair and throw it away. And I'm just sitting in the chair like, if I move, this guy is like a swordsman. He's like a samurai. But if I move, maybe I'll move into where, the sword was going to be or something. And they're like, so and then he got done cutting, and then he wet my hair, spray bottle, and then he gets the blow dryer, and it's the same thing, And when I got done, when he got done, and comes off, snaps it, and I stand up and I look in the mirror. It was the best damn haircut I ever had. And the front of my head, looked like I'm like the bow of a ship, and I'm telling you, like it was angled this way, like the top was wider than the bottom, but it wasn't like out here. I had the Zohan. That's exactly what I had. I had the Zohan. And it was like, I sort of have kind of sort of that natural shape anyway, which means that guy knows what he's doing because he looked at the natural shape and he built on it, right? If you can imagine this, but more, more dramatically like that, right? And oh man, and it was a little flatter on the top from the blow dryer. So my wife kept looking at me, and she's my wife. She sees me every day, and she's like walking the street. She's like looking at me. Like, what? She goes, just got a great haircut, man. So then, I'm walking down the street in Montreal, and all these people are looking at me. And they're like, pointing and stuff. Mike, how you doing? They're pointing and stuff. And my wife is going like, I think these people think that you're like a celebrity or something because this haircut you got. And I'm like, okay, we're going with it. We're just going with it. Don't talk to anybody. Just walk down the street and smile, And that's what happened. About 2 years later, 1 year later, I had a meeting in Montreal of all my fans. This is not too long after I released my 1995 album. And I had a huge fan base in Montreal, and I met about 20 of them, and I took them all to dinner. I didn't tell them. I picked up the bill later. But the thing is I went back to that same place, and it was the same guy who was in charge, but the sifu, the master who cut my hair, it was his day off. And so, but I got my hair cut by the other guy. He wasn't quite as good, but he gave me a very similar haircut, and I went to meet my fans and did a performance in a club later, and it was really nice, but excuse me, I don't remember, but I remember I gave him a tip. It was a big tip, because knowing me, I probably gave him a tip that was equal to or greater than the cost of the haircut, because this guy was a master. I just really appreciate people who are just so good at what they do, masterful at what they do. And I'm the kind of person that, excuse me, when I go to a place and I get something that's exceptionally I want to pay for it. You know, some people are cheap, and they're always looking for a way to get out of paying. You know, they don't want to pay anything. But if I go to a place and there's a chef that prepares a meal that's off the charts good, I want to pay for that. You know, I like a tailor. I had a suit made in Taiwan, and this guy just, he nailed it. You know, I want to pay for it. I want to give him a tip. I want to, you know. So that's how you show your appreciation, obviously. But anyway, so I don't remember. You know, a long time ago in Canadian dollars, it was probably like 30 Canadian dollars. I probably gave him like 50 or something, or 50 or 60. So, but yeah, I'm just guessing. But yeah, that was nice. It was cool. And when I went to meet my fans, and I had the other haircut. Of course, my hair is completely white now. The pictures I have from those days, I was about half gray, half not. But even though I got my hair cut not by that master guy, but by the guy who spoke English, I guess he was in charge of the shop, he was still pretty darn good. He wasn't quite as dramatic. He wasn't quite as Clint Eastwood, you know, with the sidearm, you know, scissors. But I got to tell you, I went to the dinner, and later on I went to a club and did a performance, and it was nice, you know. Yeah, it's amazing how something as simple as a hairstyle can give you confidence and make you feel good. Now, this is sexist. I'm going to say a sexist comment, but ladies know this all the time because they go get their hair done. But men, we usually just go to the barbershop. What do you want? How do you want your hair? And we say stuff like, I don't know, I have to look at it. So they just go, and they buzz it, whatever. But I have a hilarious time with the barbers in Taiwan. You go to a place in Jubei, and they have a machine. You walk in, there's a machine, and you put 100 NT, and it gives you a ticket, and they call the number, right? And they sit down, and they go, how'd you like your haircut? And I always say, I don't know, I can't see it. And they always start laughing. You know, it's really hilarious. And so, because I'm a foreigner, and I can speak Chinese, we have conversations that usually most people in the shop here, they'll stop working and we'll just turn around and listen because it's hilarious. They'll say things to me like, well, don't worry, trust me, I'll make you look really handsome. And I say, no, I don't need that kind of trouble. I'm a married man. Don't make me too handsome. And they bust out laughing. They think it's hilarious. Wen came in, and she had like a hat pulled down, and she had a mask up to here, and I didn't even recognize her, but you heard me say her name, but she's inside, and I can't get her to come out to do a little quick hello and Q&A and stuff, but I got to get going, though. It is not too late. Actually, I'm on a little bit earlier than I usually am. I've been on like as much as like 2 a.m. local time, but it is actually almost 11 p.m. local time. So I'm actually on quite earlier, which is why Feifei could join earlier, which is nice, because in Australia it's 3 hours ahead where she is. And J-Boy, it's always a pleasure to see you too. But anyway, I got lots of cool stuff coming up, and I know I've been saying this, and I had a couple of things that have, I don't want to say interfere, but they have. I mean, I've had to do them, like, you know, the JTS reviews and things that have prevented me from actually finishing the release that I want to finish. But I'm going to have a song for you guys really soon that I'm going to release. Now, Drunish, if you use the Line app, L-I-N-E, that's the Line app by Naver, you can join us on our late night group. It's great to catch you too, Matthew, and I appreciate the effort that you always make to catch me, and it's amazing that you stayed for the whole stream. It's fantastic. But seriously, you guys, you can find me at right here. Where is it? It's right here. Late night at Taiwan Live TV. And Drew, if you want to send me an email, if you're on the Line app, send me an email with your Line ID, and we would love to have you join our group. And please check out. Sorry, Grayson. Livestreaming.technology. It's been covered up for most of the live stream, but it's well worth it. Livestreaming.technology. Actually, I think what I can do, it's kind of late now, but I think if I do that, and I think if I put Grayson over here, and I think if I do this now, it goes on top. There you go, okay. But the point is, we've got a really, really nice over here. A really, well, I can't point to it now, but okay. So it's right here. It's there. It is right there. Livestreaming.technology. It's a really nice. I know. Oh boy, you're so right. But it's a really nice technology platform for live streaming and content creators, and it's slowly growing. So we could definitely use your input. And feel free to post your opinions. It's a non-censorship, kind of platform. So, but let me say good evening, good night. Thank you so much, you guys, and I'll see you next time. Okay, and I really appreciate it. And I will try my best to be on Sunday night, and I have some other stuff for you. I'm going to have to go back and review this live stream and remember all the things that I promised you guys I was going to do, and just go do it. So take care. Fist bump to everybody. Thank you so much. Thanks, Junior. Thanks, Matthew. Thank you, J-Boy. And I know Dave's gone because it's probably too late for him. Dave actually was out drinking, so yeah. And Mike and everyone else who joined and was viewing and didn't comment. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time, okay? Thanks, J-Boy. You guys take care. We'll see you now. It's fantastic. I love you guys. All of you.